Trump came out and said, I'm going to get arrested on Tuesday. Terrible. Left-wing thugs, violent, terrible. And it turns out that wasn't true. Now, by the way, I think he raised like $150 million. No, was it 150? No, it may have been 1.5.
Oh, I didn't.
Way less. I think it was, yeah. 150 million would be ridiculous. Yeah, no. I think it was 1.5 million.
I'll look this up while you're talking.
Yeah, look it up. I saw it on Twitter. They were
Okay.
like bragging about the fact that they raised 1.5 million, but he didn't get arrested on Tuesday. They were like trying to gin up, you know, like their followers. But look, I think eventually he will get arrested. He will be indicted.
Million.
That's going to happen. But at least as of right now, as the time we're recording this, it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
And so, but, you know, Twitter jumped the gun a little bit. They were having some fun and they decided, some people decided, let's make some AI deep fakes of Donald Trump getting arrested. And so they put it into various, I don't know if it was whatever programs are out there. I'm not familiar with any. I mean, I know what ChatGPT is. Obviously, I don't think they make pictures like this.
Yeah.
But anyway, this stuff is getting better and better in terms of how it looks.
Right.
You know, I mean, I hate to say this, but I feel like artists are terrified because it could do like decent art. You know what I mean? But anyway, so they did the Trump deepfake pictures, and it looks here. We'll throw it up so everybody can see it. I mean, it's good, right? Like I'd say it's good.
Yeah.
But from the second I looked at them, even barring the silly ones of Trump running away from them, whatever, I still thought there's something off about it. They still haven't. The uncanny valley thing, there's still an uncanny valley there, in my opinion.
I actually didn't get the off of these pictures.
Really?
To me, they look like, just to glance at them, they look very real.
Really?
Now, the only, I didn't fall for any of these just because I knew what was going on in the news. So I knew the context and I knew this technology exists. So it's not like I fell for them, but I can certainly imagine in a different situation where I wasn't, read in up to the minute about exactly what was happening, potentially falling for them. And what it made me think about is, remember we read that book about the development of advertising and how it's almost like an arms race, because the initial modes of advertising, it was just like posters, right? And that really worked for a while. And people are like, oh, look at what's on this poster and let me go buy this product. And then that starts to fade in its efficacy. And then, you go to the next, and maybe it's radio ads. And then that really works really well. And then you go to TV ads. And over time, generations become accustomed to these modes and forms, and they're less effective on them. So you've got to up the ante. You got to up the ante. And it's always the older generations who came up with the older iterations of things, which are most easily fooled. So I think about, and I've told these stories before, but my dad is a really smart guy. Okay, he has a PhD in physics. Not like that didn't just fall off the turnip truck. But during the Obama era, he would get these like unhinged chain emails and take them seriously. Right, that was one of the modes of deception at the time. And because he didn't come up in the internet era, he was susceptible to them, even as, an incredibly intelligent, educated person. So that's sort of the way that I look at this development, is like, okay, this is like the next phase of the arms race. And I think even people who are our age and older certainly are going to be susceptible to being fooled by this until we build up some kind of defenses to really question everything that's in front of our eyes and not just accept it at face value.
You're sort of making the most important point, which, by the way, has borne out with these fake Trump arrest images. There was an uncomfortable number of people who thought it was real. I mean, you had, one of them was I'm not kidding about this. One of them was tweeted by an account called Butt Crack Sports. And it had some text, and it showed the pictures of Trump getting arrested.
Yeah.
And there were people uncritically underneath who unironically thought, wow, this is crazy.
This is going down.
Trump got arrested. And so, like, my feelings on this are, this is going to be bad. This is going to be real bad. I feel like I have a pretty good meter for, like, I have fallen for some social media stuff before, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I'll freely admit it. I was in the original wave. Remember when anytime a hurricane would hit, they would show a picture of like a shark swimming in the street. And they'd be like, oh my God, a shark was just spotted in the street.
Yeah.
I fell for that the first time.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, stupid, you're so stupid. Right? And just like beat it in my own head. And then my default perspective 99% of the time is assume it's bullshit. Assume it's bullshit up front, right?
Yeah.
And with this, like, for me, it was instantaneous. I was like, of course that's not real. Who are we kidding? And I thought, I honestly don't even think it looks real because the pictures look a little too glossy to me. There's something about them that it's just like, this ain't right. And it hit me like that. But the fact that other people were falling for it tells me we're about to enter a wild, wild west era with zero regulation of this stuff. And people, this is going to be used in every nefarious way you can imagine. People are going to say stuff and then argue, I didn't say that. That was a deepfake. And it's going to happen vice versa as well, where they're going to make somebody say something and they didn't say it, but a lot of people are going to believe it, and the lie's going to spread all the way across the world before the truth can get its pants on, or however the saying goes. Like, seriously, this is going to be bad because the boomer generation, the silent generation, even some in Generation X are just like, you know, it was one of these things.
Yeah.
Just immediate. And that's terrifying because now they, I mean, you've seen the ones where they do it with the voice.
Yeah.
They have Biden and Obama and Trump playing a video game together and talking. And again, to my ear, it's still a little off. There's something about it that sounds a little robotic or something. It's not perfect. But if you're 72 years old and you're a Facebook uncle and you already believe QAnon or some shit, and there's a thing of Biden comes up where he admits to committing some pedophile crime or something, you're going to be like, oh my God, they got him.
Did you hear? Yeah.
He said it.
Yeah. Well, and I even think that the impact is much broader than just like, you know, really elderly people who are very social media naive, because you even see it like, you know, you'll make some like sarcastic joke that you see on Twitter that you see as very clearly satire, very clearly sarcastic. And the number of people who'll be in the replies taking you seriously, you're like, wow, you are not engaging with this medium in the way that it's meant to be engaged with, because there's just like, you didn't come up with it. You haven't developed the fluency with it. It's never going to be a native language to you. So I think it goes a lot further than silent Gen, boomer, even Gen X. You know, I'm like an old millennial. I think my people will be taken in as well, because it is getting to that level. So especially in the initial transition phase, before people have built up any sort of like immune system to it, there's going to be all kinds of stuff going on. And I just, you know, already guys, just make sure anything you see, especially if it's something that really like fits too closely your personal preconceived notions.
People go right for their preconceived notions.
Feeds into whatever your worldview is. Like, make sure you check it.
And by the way, I'm talking a big game here. I wasn't fooled by that at all, bro. I could tell it was fake from right away, bro. Well, it turns out it's not that. I guarantee you within 2 years, there's going to be deepfake pictures that I'm hook, line, and sinker. I could have sworn it looks 100% real. It's coming. We are so close to it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at those, again, I still think there's a little bit of an uncanny valley, but we are so close to overcoming that.
Yeah.
And man, and by the way, you expect our lawmakers are going to get it together to know how to effectively regulate this and keep everybody sort of safe from the negative repercussions of it?
I don't know that you can without, while maintaining like a free and open society too, you know? I mean, there's guardrails you can put on it.
Well, yeah, because look, essentially, it's fraudulent. If you say somebody said something that they didn't and that thing is career destroying, that's defamatory. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of examples of like, no, this is just fraudulent.
Sure.
You know? So,
but there are
like,
things that'll be a lot more borderline than that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But my point is, it's going to be total wild, wild west from now for as far as the eye can see. Because also, I mean, when you look at the Supreme Court dealing with like tech cases, they're like, how do I log on to Facebook? Like, they don't even know how to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to deal with AI stuff and deep fake stuff. There's no way.
Yeah, I think a lot about, because I do think we're living in sort of like a golden era of scams. And so I've been thinking a lot about what makes people vulnerable to scams. We talked to CoffeeZilla about this some too. And it is like, you know, if something too neatly fits your worldview.
Right.
Another common one is what they call affinity scams, where you think it's someone who's in your community. So a lot of times, like, religious communities will be vulnerable to this, where it's like, oh, is somebody in my church who offered me this investment deal? Like, of course. And there's an equivalent of that online, of course. If it's someone who's in your circle or in your ideological bubble or whatever, you may be more likely to be, oh, you know, this person who I trust and shares the same views with me said that this was true or is offering me this opportunity. Or it's something that meets some sort of like fear, desire, longing that you have. You see this with like the crypto guys who are looking for some way to get financially ahead or feel like they have autonomy in their lives. And so they become very susceptible to crypto scams. So I would just say try to make yourself not an easy mark. Try to identify what your own vulnerabilities are and be skeptical. That's
Yeah,
all you
assume
can say.
everything's bullshit is the default perspective.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.